Hello again. Okay, so I'm back to, this is, I guess, volume 3 of my 90s slash 80s slash maybe early 2000s memories. Just shit I remember from when I was a kid and a teenager and all that stuff. All the good stuff. So I want to talk a little bit more maybe about Nickelodeon. When I was a kid. Nickelodeon was freaking amazing when I was a child. Does anybody remember Marc Summers? Like, the best, like, game show host ever. He was on, Double Dare. There was a couple other game shows he was on that I can't think of right now. You remember The Slime? Wild and Crazy Kids, where it was like it was like outdoor. I remember them being outdoors a lot, and I remember them being at like Universal Studios, I think, a lot. Like, you know, that was always the big thing. It was a lot of like almost like field day kind of activities. They'd be outside, and the host had like, there was like 3 hosts or something, I think. There was like a girl, and there was like 2 guys or something. I don't really remember. There was Wild and Crazy Kids. I think there was like, I don't know, and I want to say that was like in maybe like 91, 92, 93, something like that. I remember watching that all the time. What was it, the Legends of the Hidden Temple? Of course, everybody remembers that. There was a show that I vaguely remember, but I have super early memories of this show, and it was called Finders Keepers, and it was on Nickelodeon, and it was a game show. And basically, the whole premise of the show was that there was, I don't remember the entire show, but I remember the big, like, dollhouse. There was, I think it was, like, you worked on teams, and there was one person giving you hints about where to find something. And the other person was in this big soundstage that was a giant house, but it was, like, open on one side. And so the audience could look in and watch this person, like, rummaging through this like ramshackled, you know, put together house on like a soundstage, and I think the person would be telling them clues on where to find like a certain item, and they would have to like go through like let's say like for example like a bedroom, but it would be like really messy and there would be stuff everywhere. So like maybe what they were looking for was like underneath, like a shoebox underneath the bed or something, and they would have to use the clues to like find if they were in the right location, give them, you know, riddles to where it was. And I think it was like a timed thing or something maybe, and it was like this big 2-story house kind of a thing, and like they would have to, you know, go downstairs and go into the kitchen and go into the living room, and it was I remember that a lot. So that one was called Finders Keepers, if anybody remembers that one. That was on in like 90, maybe 89 or something like that. What else? Real Monsters. I freaking missed that show. I remember I was so happy when I was younger, and we had gotten rid of cable at one point or something, because my parents used cable as a way to punish me and my sibling. They would tell us, you know, oh, we didn't get good grades, or we were in trouble, or they were mad at, you know, we'd done something to piss them off or whatever. So they would cut off cable for a month. I don't know, is that actually a thing? Did parents actually do that, or were they just lying to us and like unhooking the cable? Because I can't see them doing that. I learned at a very young age how to hook cable back in, like the actual like cable, like screw the cable back into the wall and screw it into my TV. Like I think I learned how to do that when I was like 5. You know, like I remember being rewarded with the Disney Channel. Like if I'd gotten good grades or something, like that was the thing to do. That was how you made me happy when I was a small child. If my mom came pick me up at school and she would be like, hey, go turn it on Channel 3. Because that's what the Disney Channel was when I was a kid. Channel 2 was HBO, which we didn't get. Channel 3 was Disney, which we didn't get. And then there was 4, 5, 8, the news channels, all that crap. I remember these things, and I don't know why. At one point, Nickelodeon was channel 18, and MTV was channel 25 when I was very little. And then I want to say it became channel 20, and Nickelodeon was still 18. And I don't know why I'm telling you these things, but whatever. So when I was a child, the way to reward me was to be like, hey, we got Disney this month. Like, was that actually a thing? Could you actually get cable, like, month to month? Because my parents acted like it was expensive. And I really don't think it was. Like, were they just jacking with us? I don't know. I remember I got back to All Real Monsters. I got so excited when, one day when we didn't have cable, I found All Real Monsters on TV, but it was on the Spanish channel. But I would still, like, put it on because I would watch it and, like, watch, you know. I didn't understand what they were saying, obvi. I was, like, you know, 12 or 13 or 14 or something, but I was just so excited that I had found it, even if it wasn't a different language. Whatever. Rocko's Modern Life. Freaking loved it. He's a wallaby that owns a dog. How can you not love that? It's great. What was it? His neighbors were called the Big Heads or something? Like frog people? And then his best friend was a cow, a heifer, who was raised by a family of wolves. How can you not love that? And then what was it? Their dentist had a hook hand, and she was married to a turtle man. Perfect. Sign me up. I will watch that all the time. What else was there? Okay, of course there's Rugrats, you know. Thinking of Reptar bars still makes me hungry. It still makes me want to eat one. I remember there was a couple episodes where they were like, Reptar bars! Oh, you know, it was the big thing. Oh, what else? Well, I guess aside from Nickelodeon, I know there is a ton of Nickelodeon shows that I am not covering at this time period. I can always come back to Nickelodeon and MTV and whatever at a later time period when I have remembered more or researched a little more. Again, this list was something that I put together in about 15-20 minutes. Sorry I'm talking really fast. I'm just trying to fit in a lot of information into this video because I know my videos are long and I don't know if everybody has the patience to watch me ramble about shit for 20 or 30 minutes, so I'm sorry. Okay, does anybody else remember watching Mystery Science Theater 3000? Because I motherfucking love that show. I love me some how do they say it? MST3K? I miss that show so much. Like, that was the big thing about Comedy Central. I remember, that's another thing when I was a kid and we had cable. Comedy Central was an extra channel. Like, you had to pay extra for Comedy Central. Like, it was, I think it was, like, bundled in with the same stuff as, like, HBO and Showtime. Like, when I was little. And I remember there would be, like, preview weekends where you would get HBO for the weekend. You'd get Comedy Central and Showtime for the weekend. And they would show the best stuff for that weekend. And I remember I would get stuck watching, or not stuck, but I was, like, mesmerized watching Mystery Science Theater. And just how funny it was, and I miss that show. They used to show it years ago. They used to show it on Sci-Fi at like 8 in the morning on like Saturdays, and I remember I'd wake up just to watch that on Sci-Fi. You know, that's one of those things that you just don't see anymore. I miss that show. What else? Gel pens. Of course, like, that was the high school staple, I remember. We'd always draw on our hands. We'd always draw on our friends' hands. I remember me and my husband were talking the other night, and we both had a moment where we remembered when we'd sat next to each other in class, I'd write stuff on his hand. He would let me write on his hand. And we don't remember what I wrote. There's like little key moments that I remember from when me and him were in class together, and just every once in a while we'll remember little stuff that happened, you know, 15 years ago, and it's like, oh my god, you know, like, but I remember specifically writing on his hand in blue gel pen, and and I remember I loved gel pens so freaking much. And I remember you could buy black notebooks with black paper inside of them that you could write with your gel pens on so that it would show up better, you know, because the colors would pop on the black paper, and it was just badass looking. So I miss gel pens. I remember you could go to Sam's and get like a giant, Sam's or Costco, whatever. You could go to, you know, one of those wholesale places, whatever, or not wholesale, but bulk stores, and get like a giant, like 20 or 30 or 40 pack of gel pens for maybe like 20 bucks, 25 bucks. But I never got those because my parents wouldn't let me. Lame. So what else? Oh, Fruitopia. Who remembers Fruitopia? I remember exclusively drinking Fruitopia in a can during middle school, junior high lunch period. I remember that specifically. And I want to say my high school had it too. I remember either drinking canned Yoo-hoo, which is kind of gross, right? From a can. Yoo-hoo's amazing, but like from a metal can? I don't know. And then drinking Fruitopia too. I remember those two things. The vending machines from junior high and high school had some interesting shit. I remember high school, one of my favorite snacks in between class periods was, not every class period, mind you, this was like maybe once every couple of days I would stop by and get this in between class, but it would be an orange juice and a bag of pickle chips. Pickle flavored chips and orange juice. That was the shit at like 10 in the morning. Apparently, I don't know. I barely ate when I was in high school. Don't ask. I didn't have like an eating disorder, but I kind of, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like, I just kind of had it in my head that, I don't know. It wasn't that I did this on purpose. There was, when I was younger, when I was little, like, I would barely eat. Like, I would maybe eat, like, a handful of chips or something and be like, I'm full. And I wouldn't think, like, there was literally times when I would forget to eat. I would have to remind myself to eat. I don't know what it was. But now that I'm older, as soon as I wake up, food. You know, I mean, I still have a bad habit, and I've always kind of had a bad habit where I eat like one main meal a day, and then I just snack on shit throughout the rest of the day. That's not good, you know. But anyway, that's not here or there or whatever. So, okay, Fruitopia, Yoo-hoo. What is that? Oh, who remembers? Okay, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the Clueless thing that I was talking about in the other one. Does anybody remember the pens that had the big, like, feathers on top? I had one that I remember I got on a shopping trip to the fancy mall when I was in 5th grade, so I guess I was 10. So it was probably around the same time, a little bit after Clueless coming out, so that was still a thing. I remember we went to this fancy kind of girly shop, and they had TVs throughout the store, and they were playing No Doubt's Spiderwebs, and we were all like, oh my god, we love this song, blah blah blah, and they had so many like Clueless looking clothes in there. I mean, they had, you know, the shiny backpacks and smiley faces on everything, and they had, I remember I bought one of these pens, and I wish I still had it, because I remember I saw it like maybe 10 years ago. But I wish I still had it. But it was this blue pen, and it had, a lot of the time the pens with the feathers would have like stuff wrapped around it. But mine had, what's this shit called? High, you know, where like you turn it and like it changes, and then like you move it and like the color changes or the picture changes slightly. Not fucking hieroglyphic, that's not fucking right. I can't think of the name, but like, it was this blue color and it had clouds on it, and like when you would turn it a little bit, like the clouds would move and there would be like a little bit of silver to it, and then it had a blue feather on it, and I fucking love this pen. I know it's so stupid, and I think I probably spent like $5 or $6 on a pin, but I was obsessed. I had to have it. Had to have it. And I don't remember if I actually ever used the pin. I think I might have been too afraid to use it because I was obsessed with it. But, yeah, I was a silly, silly little girl. So yeah, the pins with the feathers on top, they were badass. I think I'm gonna wrap this one up right here because my camera's about to die again, so I need to charge it. I need to get a better camera. This sucks. So I'm gonna wrap this one up for now, so I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!